see Doom Fan Club side of the Caitlin Clark Indiana Fever fandom. The ones that were hanging on trying to defend Stephanie White. A lot of you guys threw in the towel last night. Rocky IV style. Throw the towel. Throw the damn towel. Y'all threw it in. Watching that fiasco that played out in front of our face. And then the comments after the game where Stephanie White refuses to answer a direct question.
The real score from last night isn't just on the box score. It's in the 1,600 empty seats that used to be guaranteed revenue. We aren't looking at a drop in attendance. We are watching a financial verdict delivered in real time, and Sophie Cunningham just became the league's most furious debt collector. A single statement from Caitlin Clark didn't just spark a feud. It detonated a truth bomb that Phoenix's front office was begging her to bury. You could see the moment coming before the microphones even went live. The press conference room had that sterile, tense silence, the kind that fills a space right before a dam breaks. Clark leaned into the mic, her tone flat, her eyes unblinking, and delivered a line that wasn't just an opinion. It was an unsanctioned declaration of war. She looked at a room full of reporters and said what no rookie has ever been allowed to say about a veteran-laden team like the Mercury. She didn't just criticize their play. She dissected their entire competitive philosophy with the cold precision of a surgeon who knows the patient is terminal. That soundbite is the new dividing line. But to understand the true magnitude of this explosion, you have to understand a rule that has governed the WNBA for a generation. Silence is the price of admission for a rookie. You collect your minutes, you defer to the veterans, and you keep your tactical assessments of other teams to yourself. That's not just locker room etiquette. It's a protected hierarchy, built to ensure that a rookie's welcome to the league moment never comes from their own mouth. The last time a player even approached this line, she was frozen out of the starting rotation for 2 weeks and traded in the offseason. Clark didn't just step over that line. She took a flamethrower to it. A sports communication expert I spoke to summed it up perfectly, saying, "This wasn't a post-game quote. This was a power play." It recast her instantly from a scoring phenomenon to a power broker who is willing to burn bridges to reshape the league's culture. That statement is the earthquake. And Sophie Cunningham's response, captured just an hour later on the Mercury's own media feed, wasn't an aftershock. It was a secondary detonation specifically timed to bury someone. Cunningham's face was a mass of cold, professional rage, the kind you see when an unwritten law has been broken and a public reckoning is now required. She didn't just offend her team. She questioned the very legitimacy of Clark's voice, setting the stage for a fight that the league office was desperate to keep locked behind closed doors. The pretense of sisterhood is shattered, and what's left is a beautiful, chaotic, and utterly undeniable beginning of a Cold War. If you think Sophie Cunningham's fury is just about a bruised ego, you're missing the cold, hard cash burning behind her eyes. This isn't a simple rivalry. This is a public fight for the financial oxygen of a league that has abruptly found a new gravitational center, and Cunningham knows the math better than anyone. Clark's statement didn't just disrespect a legacy, it threatened a business model. Here's the brutal, dual-fact reality Cunningham is facing. Not only is Caitlin Clark generating more merchandise revenue in a month than entire franchises did all of last season, but the league's new media rights valuation has silently pivoted to price every non-Clark game at a discount. Cunningham isn't just fighting a player. She is fighting the economic reality that her own prime is being labeled as secondary content. For a veteran who has poured years into building the Phoenix Mercury brand, seeing a rookie's arrival directly impact future contract ceilings and sponsorship allocations isn't just alarming. It's a legitimate existential threat. The game's pay structure is shifting beneath her feet. This is where the viewership data transforms into a weapon. A network analytics firm paraphrased the situation bluntly in a recent report. The average audience for a Fever game featuring this kind of high-stakes drama retains 40% more viewers through the final quarter than any other matchup. That means the chaos Cunningham is generating isn't hurting Clark's value. It's solidifying it. Cunningham's rage is a product now, and that realization is a spark that ignites a deeper, more dangerous kind of desperation. She's not just competing for a win. She's competing for the spotlight's oxygen. And for the first time, a single player controls a valve. We are witnessing the emergence of what I call legacy player displacement. It's a new trend where a generational rookie doesn't just take minutes. They financially endanger the very narrative veterans have sold to sponsors for a decade. The story isn't about experience versus youth anymore. It's about who the audience decides is the main character, and the numbers prove the audience has already cast their vote. If seeing the raw financial stakes behind the Fury surprises you, you already know why hitting subscribe keeps this kind of real talk coming. More like this is on the way. Don't miss it. But here is what you haven't heard yet. Cunningham's anger isn't ultimately about the money. The truly unforgivable line was hidden deep in Clark's press conference, a three-word phrase so casually delivered that most reporters missed it entirely. Those 3 words didn't just dismiss a team. They disqualified an entire generation's style of play. And for Sophie Cunningham, that was a line where business became personal. If you still believe this is just a basketball rivalry born from competitive fire, stop. You are missing the financial desperation that transformed Sophie Cunningham's voice from a low growl into a full-throated roar. This is no longer about a box score. This is about a paycheck, a career lifespan, and the terrifying reality that a single rookie has made an entire generation of veterans financially irrelevant overnight. The rage you saw on Cunningham's face wasn't just wounded pride. It was a look of someone watching their economic model collapse in real time on national television. Here is the brutal, dual-fact reality that the league doesn't want you to dissect. Not only are Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever games generating viewership numbers that triple the average Mercury broadcast, but her mere presence in the league has redirected national sponsorship dollars away from established veteran stars and funneled them directly into the Fever's coffers. Game over. Cunningham isn't just fighting for defensive respect. She's fighting for the remaining oxygen in a room that Clark now owns. The endorsement deals that used to trickle down to a player like Cunningham, the regional car commercials, the local healthcare network spots, are vanishing, repackaged, and sold at a national premium to the Clark phenomenon. This is a zero-sum game, and Cunningham knows she is on the losing side. Sports media analyst Dr. Amara J., who tracks the economics of women's professional sports, framed it with a stark clarity that should terrify every non-Clark player in the league. She noted that we are witnessing the first true superstar singularity in the WNBA, where the gravitational pull of a single player is so massive that it doesn't just attract more fans, it actively reallocates finite resources away from the league's middle class. When Cunningham looks across the court, she doesn't just see an opponent. She sees the physical embodiment of a market correction that is rendering her career earnings projection obsolete. The silence from the league office on this economic disparity confirms it's a feature, not a bug, of their new business model. If seeing the raw financial stakes behind the Fury surprises you, you already know why hitting like keeps this kind of real talk coming. More is on the way. Don't miss it. But the money is only the kindling. The truly unforgivable line was hidden deep within Clark's statement, a dismissive, 3-word phrase that didn't just critique the Mercury strategy. It disqualified an entire generation's way of doing business. It wasn't a scouting report. It was a philosophical execution, and Sophie Cunningham recognized the sound of a guillotine blade being sharpened for her legacy. What did Caitlin Clark actually say that a generic apology can't fix? It wasn't a curse word or a personal insult. It was a surgical 3-word phrase that attacked not the players, but the era that Sophie Cunningham represents. And once you hear it decoded, you'll understand why this isn't a 1-week news cycle. This is an irreparable fracture in the league's foundation. The phrase was entitled veteran culture. 3 words, delivered not with a sneer, but with the cold, analytical cadence of someone reading a diagnosis. Clark didn't accuse the Mercury of playing dirty or being too physical. She accused them of operating with an unearned sense of ownership over respect they haven't recently won. To a veteran like Cunningham, who spent years grinding through the league's most thankless era, playing in front of sparse crowds and minimal pay, while building the very platform Clark now commands, that phrase wasn't just criticism. It was historical erasure. It reframed every sacrifice she made not as a foundation, but as a failed system that deserved to be dismantled. The fury you saw was the sound of a legacy being declared obsolete on live television. Now, reimagine the locker room where that clip was played. The Mercury's facility in Phoenix has that open plan, no escape design. Every screen in the weight room, the training area, the lounge. All of them cycling that soundbite on SportsCenter every 12 minutes. Picture the speechless fury of veteran players who didn't just hear an opinion. They heard a rookie attempting a coup against the entire chain of command. The unspoken rule of the WNBA has always been, you inherit the league, then you reshape it. Clark skipped the inheritance. She declared the previous regime bankrupt and suggested the assets be liquidated. The silence in that room wasn't shock. It was the quiet before a counterstrike. Here's what you need to understand about the just competitive fire narrative currently being pushed by league apologists. It's a deliberate misdirection. This wasn't heat-of-the-moment frustration spilling out after a tough loss. Clark's word choice, entitled Culture Veteran, are poll-tested, intellectual terms. This was a calculated, philosophical indictment designed to bypass the on-court product and attack the very identity the Mercury have marketed for half a decade. Correction, this isn't trash talk. This is ideological warfare, and it's being fought with the precision of a political campaign. And the front offices know it. Not only does a press league memo from last offseason circulate among team presidents, warning about a brewing competitive integrity perception gap between veteran-led and rookie-revolutionized teams, but specifically cautioned that public airing of this tension could fracture the league's unified brand. Clark didn't just air it. She mainlined it into the national conversation. The league knew this line was coming. What they don't know, what terrifies them right now, is that Sophie Cunningham's next move is something they have absolutely no rule book to contain. I've been in locker rooms where a team is fractured beyond repair. You don't need a source to tell you. You can see in the way players avoid eye contact during timeouts, the way a point guard hesitates before passing to a teammate who's been subtly frozen out. The Phoenix Mercury aren't hiding it anymore. Cunningham's public fury isn't a pressure release valve. It's the first visible crack in a reactor core that is now actively melting down, and the coaching staff is standing there without a manual. Trace the 72-hour timeline with me. It doesn't start with Clark's statement or even Cunningham's response. It starts the morning after, when Phoenix's own social media team posted a highlight package that conspicuously excluded any clip of their veterans celebrating a single play. A deletion followed within 20 minutes. Then came the pointed-like tweets. Cunningham favoriting posts calling the new generation disrespectful, while younger Mercury players like content praising Clark's refreshing honesty. The subtweet warfare didn't stop there. The coaching staff, led by a head coach who has publicly praised Clark in the past, issued a statement so neutrally worded it might as well have been written by a corporate HR department. That silence wasn't diplomacy. It was a white flag from a leadership group that knows it has lost control of the narrative and possibly the team itself. Here is the fatal error everyone is overlooking. The analysis is obsessed with Cunningham's anger, but the true failure belongs to Phoenix's front office. They bet their entire season on the belief that veteran cohesion could withstand a rookie insurgency. They believe they could manage personalities, contain egos, and keep internal frustrations behind closed doors. The leak, whether it was Cunningham's unfiltered response or the younger player's social media rebellion, proves that bet has catastrophically failed. The front office isn't managing a team anymore. They're overseeing a divorce proceeding where both sides are already fighting over the assets. And that brings us to the emerging trend that will define the next 48 hours of the saga: the Civil War trade request. When a star player weaponizes internal chaos like this, it accelerates a timeline that normally takes months into days. Watch closely for a veteran, perhaps even Cunningham herself, to force a mid-season move by framing it as an act of self-preservation against a toxic culture. The most likely candidate is a player who sees the writing on the wall and knows her trade value will never be higher than it is right now, before the losses pile up and the league officially assigns blame. Phoenix isn't just on the brink of losing games. They are on the brink of losing a foundational player in a transaction that will be dissected for years as the moment the old WNBA finally broke apart. And just when it seemed the situation couldn't possibly accelerate further, the one force capable of uniting a fractured locker room has appeared. It's not a coach's speech or a player's only meeting. It's a common enemy. And that enemy is wearing an Indiana Fever jersey, already laughing at the chaos she's created. The question is no longer if Phoenix explodes. It's who gets caught in the blast radius when it does. This conflict is not a bug in the Caitlin Clark era. It's the feature. Every empty seat, every furious press conference response, every cryptic social media like, it's all part of a product that has fundamentally changed its identity. The WNBA is no longer selling basketball as a sanctuary of sisterhood. It's selling chaos, and the revenue numbers confirm that chaos is the most profitable export the league has ever discovered. Sophie Cunningham's fury isn't a distraction from the game. It is the game now. Let me give you the 3 non-statistical cues to watch when the Fever and Mercury face each other next. These are the signals that will reveal who is truly winning a war that no box score can capture. First, watch the pre-game handshake line, specifically the duration of eye contact between Cunningham and Clark. Anything less than 2 seconds is performative. Anything more than 4 is a declaration. Second, track which players' teammates physically touch them during dead ball situations. In a fractured team, isolation is visible. A player who receives no shoulder pats or hip bumps during stoppages is a player whose voice has been silenced. Third, and most tellingly, listen to the post-game press language. If either coach uses a phrase, "We just need to focus on basketball," you'll know the internal damage is catastrophic. That phrase is a corporate euphemism for, "We cannot control what's happening in our own locker room." We've traced this arc from a single surgical statement to a league-wide economic reckoning. Caitlin Clark's 3 words, entitled veteran culture, didn't just anger Sophie Cunningham. They stripped away the pretense and exposed a generational fault line that the WNBA has been papering over for years. Cunningham's fury wasn't an overreaction. It was a predictable, inevitable response of a legacy being declared obsolete on a platform she helped build. The empty seats in Phoenix, the boycotts being whispered about in Indiana, the trade requests looming on the horizon, these aren't separate stories. They are the aftershocks of a single earthquake, and the tectonic plates are still moving. What comes next is the coaching tenure that won't survive this season. A head coach, perhaps in Phoenix, perhaps elsewhere, will be the institutional sacrifice offered to calm a storm that no timeout can fix. When that press conference happens, when the canned statement about mutual parting of ways is read from a podium, remember this moment. Remember that it started with a rookie refusing to wait her turn and a veteran refusing to be written out of history. The game was played on hardwood. The war is being fought in the silences between words. Watch them closely. This video is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It is not professional sports, financial, or legal advice. Always consult a qualified expert before making any decisions.